Welcome to Mbuya Parent School and Kindergarten, situated in Kampala City with modern, well-equipped facilities plus extensive playing fields and amenities. Mbuya Parent School believes that a better future lies where children know how to find and create balances in themselves and the world around them. This explains our fusion of academic subjects and co-curricular activities. There are many opportunities presented to them to flourish both in and outside the classroom.
I want to become a president when I grow up.
I want to be a pilot.
I will be the best fashion designer.
Mbuya Parent School, the sky is our limit.
Dear candidates, I'm Teacher Ambrose, and I'm going to take you through P7 Science Lesson 4. And before we start our lesson today, we are going to make corrections of the previous exercise. I want to believe that you did the work, and so we are going to have corrections together. We had the work whereby we had seen the diseases that affect the human skin. And remember, we said these diseases are caused by germs, and the germs were grouped under fungi, bacteria, and viruses. So number one of the work was to name at least one disease caused by, where we had A, and that was virus. And we said those caused by viruses are what we called viral diseases of the skin. And under those, we had many, but you are supposed to give at least one. So we had chickenpox, we had measles, and then we had rubella, or what we called German measles. So if you wrote one of the three, it means you are correct. B, we are supposed to give at least one example of a bacterial disease. And there were three, where we had leprosy, we had impetigo, and then boils. And we said they can also be referred to as bacterial diseases. C was to give an example of a fungal disease, or a disease caused by fungi, and we had ringworm, we had athlete's foot, and then we also had jock itch. So if you wrote one of the three, you are correct. We had question 2, as you see, whereby it says, how best can measles as a skin disease be prevented? Remember, measles is a viral disease, and it is taught in P5 as an immunizable disease. So all immunizable diseases can be prevented by immunization. But because they are specific in the question with one disease, you can't say by immunization, because that is general. And so the answer is through immunizing children using measles vaccine, because this is the vaccine for measles as a disease. Question 3 was, why is leprosy referred to as a contagious disease? Remember, contagious diseases are those diseases that spread through body contact with an infected person. So if we are to prevent any contagious disease like leprosy, it means we have to avoid contact with an infected person. Now the answer is leprosy is spread through body contact with an infected person. We have to conclude by saying with an infected person, because if you are in body contact with a person that is not infected with leprosy, you can't get that disease. Question 4 says, besides bathing daily, how else can a P7 pupil prevent skin diseases? Remember, skin diseases are contagious. So if you want to avoid contagious diseases, you have to avoid body contact with infected people. Those that are immunizable, you have to prevent them through immunization. And then you have to avoid sharing clothes, beddings, handkerchiefs, and basins. Now, we have got ways of avoiding or preventing skin diseases. We have got number 1 through immunization, avoiding sharing clothes, combs, and beddings with infected people. Then lastly, we have avoiding body contact with infected people. I hope you have made corrections. And if you have got all the questions correct, then you are good. Thank you. Now, candidates, having done corrections, we are going to have our lesson today. And today, we are going to talk about the human kidneys as excretory organs. Remember, we talked about excretion, and we talked about excretory organs, and there were 4, where we had the human skin, the human kidney, the lungs, and the liver. Now, we are going to look at the second one, and this is the kidney. Now, the kidneys as excretory organs, they are not new, because in P4, you remember, they teach body organs, but they don't go in details, whereby they say the kidneys excrete urine. Now, in the way they do their work, they don't do the work alone, but they work with other parts. Now, for us to understand the kidneys better, we have to look at other parts. And at the end of this lesson, we have got 3 targets. The first target is describing the human kidney. The second target is identifying the parts that work with the human kidney to do the work of urine excretion. The third part is to give the functions of the kidney. Now, before we go on, I want to describe the kidneys. The kidneys are 2 in the body, and they are reddish brown, and they are found in the upper abdomen. I've said they are 2, they are reddish brown, and they are found in the upper abdomen. Now, when I talk of upper abdomen, I mean the part between the navel and the chest cavity. Remember, the human body has got those parts: the head, the chest cavity, and the abdomen, and the limbs. So we are talking about the part between the chest cavity here and then the navel. That is what you call the upper abdomen. And we are saying they are found in the upper abdomen and at the back. So if you were to locate them, you have to go here, you come like this, and then around here. There are 2, one is here, and another one is this side. Now, for us to understand the kidneys, we are having the model that we are going to use today. And here is our model. We have to remember that the kidneys are bean-shaped. You remember the shape of a bean seed? Yes. Now, when you look at this model, then you can see many parts, but the kidneys are bean-shaped and they are 2. Are you observing that? Yes. We have got this one and this one. But there is something to note. When we are labeling the kidneys, we have to be serious with the left side and the right side. Now, for example, this part, it is the left kidney. But when you are looking at this part like this, you'll find that your right side is this one. It is this side. But then why do we call it the left side? Because you are not labeling your own kidney, you are facing them. So if my right is here, it means that if I turn, my right will go this side. So when we are labeling these parts, we use that one to identify the left and the right. So we've said the kidneys are 2 reddish brown bean-shaped organs found in the upper abdomen. Now, here we are having parts that form the urinary system, but remember our target is the kidney. Now, these 2 kidneys don't work alone, and I want you to observe clearly. We have got the arrows. Are you seeing this arrow? Yes. And are you seeing this arrow? Yes. They are very important when you are identifying these parts. Remember, we said the kidneys excrete urine. Now, they excrete urine, and again they filter blood. That blood is brought to the kidneys. When you look at part H, there is an arrow pointing downwards, and it shows that blood is brought to the kidneys. And when it reaches here, then it is supplied to this kidney, and then it is also supplied to this kidney. Then the kidneys filter that blood, and after filtration, the blood is taken out of the kidney through part I. And what is collected from urine comes down like this. Are you seeing the direction? Yes. And then it is collected here, and then when this part is filled with what is collected, and that's what we call urine, then we have got part L. This part controls the opening and closing of this part M that we call the urinary bladder. And then you go and the urine comes out. So we are going to see these parts that form the urinary system together. Having seen that blood is brought to the kidney, then it is supplied to the kidney and to this kidney, and then from this kidney, the blood that is filtered is taken out of this kidney, and even here it is taken out of this kidney. Then what is collected comes here, it is stored temporarily, and then it is passed out. So it is very important to know those directions. Now, we are going to see these parts whereby we have got part H, and part H is what we call aorta. Now, this blood vessel is bringing blood to the kidneys. But when it reaches here, it branches into two. This one and this one. You see that red color? And either this part or this part, it is what we call renal artery. We call that part renal artery. So we say the renal artery supplies the kidney with blood. Now, when blood is filtered, it leaves this part like this, then it collects here, from this side it collects here, from this side it collects here, and then it is taken out. So we have got part I, and part I is the vena cava. But the vena cava also has got two parts that carry blood from the kidneys. You see this part here and this part here, and this part is what we call renal vein. We have got vein and we have got artery. Why is it called artery? Because aorta is an artery. So it divides into another artery that we call renal artery. The vena cava is the main vein, and then it divides, for that case it divides, and we have got renal vein. So we have got the kidneys as part J. So we have got those components, and another one will be the kidneys. After filtration of blood, then what is collected from blood will be taken out of the kidney through this part, that is for this kidney, and then through this part for this kidney, and then it will come and get collected here. So we have got part K, and part K is what we call ureter. So the ureter carries urine. That is after filtration. And then the urine is brought to part M, and part M is what we call the urinary bladder. When the urinary bladder is filled with urine, then you have to get permission. For example, if you're in class and you have to go and urinate. So this part is having these two parts here at the opening, and that is part L. Now these parts control the closing and opening of the urinary bladder, and this is what we call the sphincter muscles. Now we say the sphincter muscles control the opening and closing of the urinary bladder. And in case the sphincter muscles fail to work properly, it means you cannot control urine, and at any time urine comes here, then it has to come out of your body. Now, when you go to the latrine and you are urinating, the passage where urine passes to come out of your body, that is part N, that is the part that we call urethra. Now, those are the parts that form the urinary system. And remember, we are talking about the kidneys. But we are looking at other parts because the kidneys cannot work alone. So we have got those parts, and we have to read the words. We have got aorta, renal artery, vena cava, renal vein, kidneys, ureter, urinary bladder, sphincter muscles, and then urethra. So now, candidates, having seen parts that form the urinary system, or what we call the parts that work with the kidneys to excrete urine, then we have to remember one thing, that the urinary system is that system that produces urine, stores it temporarily, and then eliminates it. The kidneys during filtration produce urine. The urine is brought here, and then like this, it is stored here temporarily, and then it is eliminated. And that is the urinary system. So the function of the kidney, the major one, is going to be our number one here. And we talked about it in P4, whereby in primary 4, we said the kidneys excrete urine, filter blood, and then control water and salt levels. But out of those three, the major, or what we call the chief function of the kidneys, is to filter blood. So our first one here is going to be filtering blood. When this blood is filtered, then urine is collected from blood, and that urine contains many things, or what we call the components of urine, the things that form urine, or what is collected from blood. And these include uric acid, we have got urea, we have got water, and then we have got salts. Now, after filtering blood, urine is collected, and then it is not maintained there. It comes out of the kidneys, or it is excreted. And that's the major reason why the kidneys are called or are excretory organs. If one says, why are the kidneys excretory organs? You say the kidneys excrete urine. So we have got excreting urine as the second function. Now, when urine is excreted, there are two components that must be balanced by the kidneys, and that is water and salts. And that work is done by reabsorbing those two, water and urine, if there is a need in blood. So that one brings us to another function, which is the third one, and that is controlling water and salt levels in blood. So those are the three functions of the kidneys. The first one, filtering blood, excreting urine, and then controlling water and salt levels in blood. Now, candidates, that is the end of our lesson today. But remember, at the end of the lesson, we are having the work that we are going to do. That is an exercise, and you have to forward the work, and you make sure you have got all the questions correct. And it's for that reason that I want to thank you for attending the lesson. I want to say that stay home, but stay useful. Thank you.